Hey, party people. Welcome to episode 712 of my podcast. Today we are going to be talking about an increasingly popular topic in fashion, quiet luxury. Also known as coded luxury. I think it was long called coded luxury before people started calling it quiet luxury, and it is occasionally called silent luxury. Okay. First question, what is it? What is quiet luxury? Okay. The topic of coded luxury, quiet luxury, this conversation started becoming popular when Steve Jobs started wearing those black mock turtlenecks everywhere. Okay, it became his uniform and part of, the image that he was known for. And no, he did not buy those mock turtlenecks in bulk at the Gap for $12 a pop. They were actually Issey Miyake turtlenecks. They had a friendship, and those were all Issey Miyake turtlenecks. And I am a huge fan of Issey Miyake. I wouldn't say that he is quiet luxury. He's not a quiet luxury designer because, he's not known for basics. He's known for design exploration. I think more of you are familiar with his work with pleating. And I found him an incredible designer, but I wouldn't put him in the quiet luxury camp. Although anyone who is operating at that level of quality could have a few quiet luxury pieces within their collections. More on that later. But yeah, so Steve Jobs started wearing these tops, and Mark Zuckerberg, in his bid to emulate Steve Jobs, you cannot convince me he didn't start doing this not to emulate Steve Jobs, but Mark Zuckerberg, he started wearing these gray t-shirts, okay? Everywhere he went, he was wearing these gray t-shirts. And again, no, he was not buying them in bulk at the Gap for $12 a pop. Those were Brunello Cucinelli t-shirts that run for $300-400 a pop. And that is kind of the beginnings of the conversation, the public popular conversation around coded luxury, where you see these basics and those in the know where they come from, how much they actually cost, how high quality they actually are up close, okay? You hear this term a lot, elevated basics, but quiet luxury is quite the upper echelons of elevated basics. They take these classic timeless styles and they make them out of the best quality materials and, made by the highest quality manufacturers, and they issue any obvious logos or obvious branding, and the quintessential elevated basics, except these elevated basics are not $100 tees, they're $400 tees. These pieces are simple, they're minimal, they're made to be worn season after season, so they're timeless. Definitely a less is more pursuit, but it doesn't belong to just one particular aesthetic. Some brands can lean like Americana preppy, like Ralph Lauren Purple Label. Ralph Lauren is one of those houses that have many levels of price points within their brand, and Purple Label is Ralph Lauren's absolute top tier, most expensive, most exclusive line within the company. And then, you also have quiet luxury brands that have a sort of like French casual insouciance, like The Row or Celine under Phoebe Philo. And then you have some brands that have a bit of like that Italian charm with a sprinkle of quirk, like Loro Piana and Brunello Cucinelli. And yes, the differences are subtle, but the differences are there, and the differences are supposed to be subtle because the highest echelons of fashion have always been about exclusivity. And what is more exclusive than needing to know a secret code of quiet luxury to be part of the club? Okay? How is a luxury brand different from a designer brand? Okay, number one, designer price point is where things start at about $1,000, excluding small things like t-shirts. Okay, and contemporary price point is under that, with the cheapest things being, a few hundred. Luxury, loud luxury, quiet luxury, whatever kind of luxury, is not just more expensive than designer, but traditionally included brands that have a global presence, and their products, exude a social capital on an extra level. And now that quiet luxury is becoming more popular, brands are actually hiking up the prices of their quiet luxury items, within their brands. What is accessible luxury? Accessible luxury is typically a contemporary price point, rebranded as accessible luxury. These brands are like Coach, Kate Spade, Michael Kors, Longchamp. Sometimes they're called affordable luxury. And if you watch my price points video, I'll link it below. But, there are a lot of price points, there used to be a lot of price points: moderate, bridge, better, and they've all sort of collapsed, okay? Because this is what happens when you don't have a functioning middle class anymore. All those middle price points also get collapsed. So now, in the year of our Lord 2023, the main categories, the main price points in fashion are fast fashion, and then contemporary, designer, and luxury, haute couture. And so because people are so used to functioning at a fast fashion quality, anything remotely better than that, people start classifying it as luxury. And so the market took advantage of that and rebranded these like sort of middling accessories as accessible luxury. What are some quiet luxury brands? Okay, there are definitely quiet luxury brands I mentioned before where their whole thing is quiet luxury, like The Row and Ralph Lauren Purple Label. And when I briefly mentioned quiet luxury in my runway review video, many of you mentioned The Row as your idea of quiet luxury, and that is true, okay? But there are also brands that sometimes a brand functions as quiet luxury under a specific creative leadership, like Phoebe Philo, okay? And, which is part of the reason why everyone is waiting impatiently for Phoebe Philo's return to fashion, which should be this September. Fingers crossed. Sometimes brands get so popular that they can't be quiet anymore. Bottega Veneta used to be considered quiet luxury. If you try to think of like, what is Bottega Veneta's big logo? Like Burberry is like practically the opposite of quiet luxury. They have quiet luxury pieces, but that plaid, that logo, they're so obvious and popular that they can't be considered quiet luxury. They have some specific pieces that are more toned down, but for the most part, their pieces are very recognizable. Okay, Bottega Veneta, it used to be quiet luxury. People didn't really know about them very much. And so it was like a fashion insider. Yeah, you got the Bottega weave, like that sort of thing. But now they've become so popular. Their runways are a hot ticket. And so they're coming out of that quiet luxury space. Hermes, big luxury powerhouse, except now that the fashion game involved with pursuing a Kelly or a Birkin is become so popular and so discussed, like over discussed on social media, that it's hard to label them as a quiet luxury brand anymore, because it used to be, the Kelly and the Birkin, they've been around for decades and they're pretty recognizable to a lot of fashion people, or even non-fashion people. But now that you have to like buy so many bags and have an in with your sales assistant to get invited to buy a Kelly or Birkin, whatever that game is, that people are looking to buy all these other Hermes pieces. And so Hermes has become far more recognizable, and it's not really, their cachet doesn't come from quiet luxury, okay? Their cachet and their exclusivity comes from a different direction. Okay. And then there are a lot of brands that have quiet luxury pieces within their arsenal. You look at brands like Louis Vuitton and Celine, they charge more for pieces that are less obviously attached to logos and monograms than their louder pieces. Like a Louis Vuitton Neverfull with all the monogram is like, what, $1,700? That's like at the lowest rung. They're one of their cheapest bags. Here's the deal. Brands view shoppers who seek out easily recognizable, logo branded goods as their entry level customer. okay? They view these shoppers as, oh, they're new to money. They just got their tax refund. They just got their Christmas cash. And so they're going to splurge it on this one thing. And so they don't view them as steady income. They don't view them as long-term. They don't think of these people who are going to buy the big ticket items. So they consider them the entry-level shoppers. They don't necessarily look down on them, but they have definitely categorized them as they have just started their luxury shopping journey. So we should keep an eye on them in case, they become even wealthier and want other things, but definitely entry level shopper, because typically these are the kinds of shoppers who want to flash their cash. They're like, I just got some cash, I'm gonna flash it, and shoppers who are looking for more subtle pieces, who are more established in their money, who are more confident in their money, they avoid conspicuous displays of branding. And so the brands feel that they can charge more for their more subtle pieces. And it's a vicious cycle, okay? They kind of feed into each other, the shoppers and the brands, okay? It's a mental gridlock of who's gonna pay what for what. Is quiet luxury sustainable? Let's discuss. Okay. Some of these brands are concerned with sustainability. Like I just saw this article about Loro Piana's new forays into complete transparency of their production process. I'll link it below if you want to read it. But let's talk about whether or not quiet luxury is, as a category, without thinking about sustainable materials or processes, on its own, how sustainable it can be. Okay, so quiet luxury can be sustainable if, let's say, your budget for clothes this year is this much, and you're going to invest it in high quality pieces that you will wear a lot. You are moving away from or ditching fast fashion entirely, moving away from impulse purchases, and you're concerned with a well-edited and curated wardrobe, where you actually wear everything you own. Side note, don't lie, how many of you wear everything that you own? Like on some kind of semi-regular rotating basis. Like maybe you have a sweater you wear once a month, but you faithfully wear it once a month, okay? Leave me a comment. How much of your wardrobe do you think you actually wear? If this is your approach to dressing, okay, you want to be more grown up, you want to have a grown up wardrobe, you want investment pieces, this is sustainable. It's less disposable trash in the landfill. It's eschewing polyester and other plastics. And with these expensive items, you're more likely to take care of your pieces, get things tailored, get things mended over time, and find a good home for them when you're done wearing them, aka the secondhand market. Okay, but if you are filthy rich, and you treat all these quiet luxury pieces like regular clothes, then it's whatever. Okay, but however, okay, here's what I do like about how quiet luxury is becoming a more and more popular, well-known concept within fashion, okay? What I'm hoping is a kind of desirability and new mentality to our wardrobes. Even if your whole wardrobe isn't quite all quiet luxury, if you're just aspiring to build, if people start seeking out quality over labels, if people start learning more about quality in order to fit into this secret club of quiet luxury codes and move away from fast disposable fashion, move away from following every micro trend that doesn't look good on your body anyway, then I'm all for it. People like to emulate rich people, and this is historically true, okay? Take Koreans, for example, okay? I'm Korean, so I will speak of my culture. Koreans use metal chopsticks, and this is, lots of different Asian cultures use chopsticks, but Koreans are known for being the ones who use metal chopsticks. Maybe not the only one, but they definitely use metal chopsticks. That's our thing. And people wonder why that is, okay? Let me tell you why. It's not because they're durable. It's not because they're reusable, ad infinitum. It's because way back in the day, Korean royalty believed that using silver chopsticks, you can detect poison in food. And so royalty used silver chopsticks to detect poisons in their food, which is an actual concern for royalty. I'll give you that. And so, of course, the nobility who witnessed this also wanted to seem important, like someone would poison their food. And so they started using metal chopsticks to eat. And then, of course, people wanted to, the rich merchant class, no status, but a lot of money, they wanted to seem, aligned with the nobility. So they started using metal chopsticks. Everyone started using metal chopsticks. Okay, people just want to be like rich people. It is just a thing. Cross-culturally, throughout history, it's just a thing that we emulate the rich. So in emulating rich people and pursuing a grown-up, classy, timeless wardrobe for ourselves, and moving into seeking quality, respecting quality, and hopefully respecting production processes and the people who make your clothes, kind of that general direction, okay? I'm into it. Last question. How do you build a quiet luxury brand? Number one, research. You have to do a lot of research. You have to shop these luxury brands and look at a lot of pieces. You should focus on one item category to enter the market with and research that category, whether it's wallets, whether it's shoes, whether it's hats, like research this category inside and out. Try things on, walk around in the shoes. You have to truly understand the level of quality in order to be able to compete with the existing market. And do not think for a second that a cursory lap around Neiman Marcus is going to give you all the information you need. Okay, you need to buy a few things. Consider them a business investment, because they are, and really study. You need to stalk these businesses online and look at their websites and look at their socials and read every news story you can find about these companies. Like big luxury companies, they're in the news every time. Every time they make a business decision, they're in the news. Okay, so go read about them, go study them. You have to source the highest quality raw materials and the best manufacturers in the world. You have to rigorously test your product. Honestly, every price point, if you're entering any price point, you should be rigorously testing your product, including doing Roche tests. You have to build a beautiful brand story that resonates with the ultra wealthy. And therefore, you need to study this clientele's lifestyle. And you may be thinking, Zoe, what about the people who aren't filthy rich, but also they're not your bread and butter. Okay, all the people who aspire to be buying quiet luxury on a regular level, they're not your bread and butter. And they're aspiring to this ultra wealthy clientele's lifestyle. And so you pitch to the ultra wealthy clientele, and then you're pitching to people who also want that. Okay? So build a beautiful brand story, and you need to find ways to retail to this ultra wealthy clientele, because Pinterest is not going to be the answer in this case. Pinterest is good for a lot of things, but not this. I have two rants today. I have a mini one and I have a major one, okay? Number one, the mini rant is, let me tell you something, okay? Y'all love my runway reviews. And I think that that I know that because I'm not beholden to brands, that I don't have brand deals and they don't send me freebies, that I speak my true opinions. And yeah, they're opinions. I get that. They are all opinions. Fashion is all very subjective, and maybe I have like a more discerning eye for quality and proportion and things like that. But at the end of the day, they're all opinions. But that I can be honest about my opinions because I am not beholden to any brands. Okay, I don't have to kiss their butts. So if I don't like something, I will tell you. So you all love my runway reviews. and I will be doing them more in the future. However, I will tell you right now that they are some of my more tedious videos to make. I love doing the commentary, but collecting all the pictures and doing the editing in the editing way that y'all like and everything, it takes a lot more time than your average video. And so when I spend, when I stay up all night hunched over my computer editing, I don't appreciate it when my husband's super blip comment about the Schiaparelli collection is the thing that gets all the laughs. How dare you? Okay? He comes over, wants to give me a shoulder rub because it's really late at night and I'm still hunched over freaking iMovie editing the last bits. And he's like, looks at the Schiaparelli collection and says, well, someone watched the Wakanda movie. Okay, he is funny, and he is an absolute sweetheart who does give me shoulder rubs every time I'm working late or working at all. He just randomly comes over and gives me shoulder rubs, and that's great, yes. But yeah, everyone's like, oh, your husband's so funny. I know. He's not the one who worked so hard on this video, though. How dare you? Okay, I'm kidding. But no, really, how dare you? Today's real rant is about Pantone, the color company. So I skim fashion headlines every day, and I read a few of the ones that interest me the most. And the other day, I clicked on an article about Pantone, including 28 new colors in their skin tone guide. And I clicked on it, and I was like, what is this? And for those of you who are only listening to the audio, I'm going to leave a link to what I'm talking about so you can go look at it yourself. But what is this? Okay. In the article, they talk about adding 28 new colors to their skin tone guide so that they can be more diverse. You know, they use the word diversity as the reason for adding 28 more skin tones, totaling a whopping 138 colors, and they have only 6 colors that can be categorized as dark brown or even medium brown, to be honest. How sad is that? How colorist is that? What a joke. To rewind, for those of you who don't know what Pantone is a color company, okay? And they're kind of the industry leader in color indexing, color forecasting, color services. And they service different industries, but I really only know what they do for fashion and for fashion. So let's say you find a pink ribbon and you're like, this pink ribbon is everything. I love this color and I want it to be the pop color for my next collection. I want to get some fabrics dyed in this color and I'm going to design this print, and the pink in it, I want to be this pink ribbon color, and I want all my trims, like my buttons and everything, to be this pink color. And so what you do is you open up your Pantone color card and you find the Pantone number that most closely resembles this pink ribbon you're infatuated with. And so when you are talking to all your vendors, okay, like getting your silks dyed in Korea, like, I want you to match this Pantone color, okay? Then they will look it up on their own copy of the Pantone color card and match to that Pantone, okay? Let's say you want to get some embellishments done in India and you're like, can you find, little sparkly beads and pearls that look like this pink? And they will open their version of the Pantone color card, their copy, and try to match that pink, that exact color number that you told them. And when you're looking for a trim, like, you get what I'm saying, right? Everyone is going, no matter where they are in the world, you are matching back to the same Pantone color so that you are getting consistently this pink threaded into your collection, okay? That's how we've always used them in the industry. They also offer trend forecasting services. They do Pantone Color of the Year. They do partnerships to, market the Pantone Color of the Year and color services, things like that. And the Pantone Skin Tone Guide was developed to help designers, manufacturers to find the right beiges and camels and light browns and medium browns and browns that match skin tones for an array of fashion and beauty items that are meant to be nude. And nude is subjective. Okay? If you think nude is one specific color, you might actually be racist. That is actually a song I sing. I used to sing this song when we started our skin tones module in my fashion illustration class at university. We're going to learn all the skin tones because if you think skin tone is one specific color, you're probably racist. And it's terrible because I'm not a good singer, but I would sing it very loudly in class to hit the nail on the head that we need to be learning super pasty, Lily Cole, all the way to Alec Weck, and me somewhere in between. I'm pasty. I know that. I'm pretty pale in America. In Korea, I'm considered very dark. It's all subjective. Again, nude is subjective. Pale is subjective. But having only 6 shades of brown in 138 color wheel of skin tones in your skin tone guide is not subjective. It is wrong. Stupid, short-sighted, colorist, yeah, all those things too. And my biggest question is, if this is what it looks like now, so severely lacking in darker skin tones, if this is what it looks like now with 28 new colors, what did it look like before? Do better, Pantone. You're supposed to be the leading color authority, and this is a joke. The insinuations you're making that you're not providing nude shades for darker skin tones, the implications that they do not require attention because they are not shoppers, they are not important consumers, and therefore don't need foundation, don't need nude lip glosses, don't need their own version of nude leotards and tights for ballet and dance, their own version of nude mesh for, complicated construction evening gowns. Get out of here with that. Right now, Pantone, you remind me of those dumb kids who comment on African TikTok saying, "Oh my God, Africans have cell phones?" And that's it for today. If you have a question you'd like me to address in a future episode of the podcast, drop them in the comments section below. Please heart, share, all the ways you show me love, and I will see you in the next video.